Hey everybody, this is Pastor John. Welcome to Wednesday night service. So glad you're joining us. Today we're taking you on a fishing trip and we're going to be talking about being fishers of men. Y'all check this out. Hey everybody, it's Pastor John here for just a little get-together on Wednesday night. So we've been up here fishing today because today's the first day of trout season, so here we are. And I'd like to introduce you to a couple of folks. First of all, to my left, your right, Robbie Young, the man with a plan. And then of course the table from me, another man with a plan, Danny Powell. And so I fish a lot with these guys, hunt with these guys, and we've been up here in Avery County since dark this morning fishing, and let me tell you something, we wore them out this morning.
Yeah.
Wore them out, and I don't know what it was, but I don't know, the weather's gorgeous, they were hungry, something, but I'm telling you what, it was every cast.
My arm's been in a cast all day.
I'm telling you, we wore them out, and so these are two of my good buddies, and they're also two believers in the Lord. And you know, when we thought about coming up here fishing, I thought, well, let's bring the cameras up and not only get some footage of us fishing, but then we could talk about being fishers of men, which at the end of the day is what the Lord has called every believer to do. And so, you know, we are fishers of men in a lot of different ways, with our lifestyle, with our words, with our commitment, the way we sacrifice, things that we may want. And so I thought I'd get my brothers together and we'd just go around the table and talk about being a fisher of men. And so, Danny, let's start with you, man. When you think about being a fisher of men, what's that say to you?
Well, I thought it interesting by just reading the story, how when he called them and he said, no longer will you fish for that, but you're going to be fishers of men. I thought, you know, how he called ordinary people to do extraordinary things.
That's exactly right.
And so, you know, I look at it as like, you know, you may just be an ordinary person just doing just regular stuff, and God calls you to do something, you know, extraordinary just by using what you have, your gift. You know, he used those fishermen, and they dropped everything they was doing. You know, they dropped everything to go follow him, and I thought that was amazing too. That not only he uses ordinary people on your jobs, in your family or whatever, but also they dropped everything and they put him first. So I think not only by, you know, being extraordinary for him, but putting him first is also the key too. You know, they just dropped everything they was doing and went after him.
Yeah. And there's something about living an ordinary life. I mean, coming fishing is ordinary.
Yeah.
It's what you do. Hunting's ordinary. Planting gardens and living off the land and just being a normal person is part of being a believer. You know, we have a saying at church, don't be weird, right? Don't be weird. Listen, just be yourself. God's called you out of things. You listen, the early disciples, fishermen. You get into Paul's time, what was Paul? Tent maker. Well, what was a tent back then? That was the houses, for the most part, that people lived in. So he was in construction. He was a construction guy. So, you know, there he was out there putting homes together. And at the same time he's putting homes together, he's sharing about Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just about this whole thing about being a fisher of men. You don't have to be a pastor to do that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's ordinary folks doing ordinary things. And in the ordinary, that's where the supernatural's at.
Yeah.
That's where the supernatural's at. You know, a lot of people think when supernatural happens, the sky split open, voice from heaven, you know, and there's some, you know, powerful manifestation of the Spirit in order for it to be supernatural. No, man, listen, there's a lot of supernatural in the ordinary.
Yeah.
Just ordinary life. It's a lot supernatural. So, great point. Robbie Young, when you talk about fishers of men, what comes to your mind, brother?
What comes to my mind is you know, there's a lot of different types of fishing, a lot of different things, and some people do it for a hobby, some people do it for food, some people do it for sport, and some people don't do it because it can be a lot of trouble. I mean, you know, people think, well, I don't want to fish because I don't want to have to buy all the equipment, and I don't want to have to go out to a stream, I don't want to have to clean the fish. They just want to go out and buy the fish. And a lot of times we think about that in our Christian life as well. We don't want to go, we don't have the time, or we think we don't have the time to go out and witness, or to go find lost people, and you really don't have to go find them.
No.
They're there. And so, you know, we don't ever have to worry about doing all of it. Just do your one small part. You catch them. We don't have to clean them.
Right.
And we can enjoy their fruits later and know that we had a part of that. But you know, some people don't want the mess, and that's why they don't witness. They don't want to deal with all the mess. But you don't have to. God doesn't tell you to deal with the mess. He just says, go be a fisherman.
Yeah.
Just be a witness.
And you know, that's important. What Robbie said, how, you know, some people, they don't know how to do it or whatever, you know. And, you know, just out of conversation today, we talked to somebody fishing today that we didn't even know, you know, and he brought it up. And so there's your chance.
Yeah, he said,
so some people's going to bring it up.
And he actually said, hey, come over here, guys, and let me help you. I'll show you how to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you know, and so not only that, but the conversation was brought up about where we go to church.
Yes.
And so it leads into it. Just doing ordinary stuff, you know, and even on our jobs, we do ordinary stuff around people every day. And so sooner or later, conversations are going to come up. And that's where God uses you to do extraordinary things.
Exactly right. So in this thing, like you're talking about, you don't have to look far. You know, when I first became a believer, what they told us that we had to do in order to be a fisher of men was to go knock on doors. Go cold evangelism, they call it. Go knocking on somebody's door that you don't even know, and you get door slammed in your face, and people think that you're weird. So you don't have to be weird. You don't have to go knock on somebody's door that you don't know. There are plenty of people that you do know, okay, who need the Lord, like desperately. You know what I mean? You don't have to go knocking on anybody's door, cold knocking on someone's door that you don't know. Just start with your family.
Yeah.
Start with your coworkers. And you had a wonderful thing there, what wonderful saying there is, you know, God's called us to be fishers of men. He didn't call us to clean them, you know? And that's one of the, as a pastor, that's one of the things I find difficult, is that there are always Christian people who want to tell you how you're supposed to live, what you're supposed to do. And there's a place and a time for that. I understand that. But the time and the place for that is not for new believers.
Right.
Okay? Because what I have seen most of the time is you got someone who's been in the Christian faith like 60 years, okay? And it took them 60 years to get victory in some part of their life, and then they want to turn that around and use that as a bludgeon on somebody who's just come in the Lord. Well, it's like, look, you can't expect them to live like that. They just come into the kingdom.
Yeah.
You've been working through it for 60 years. How can you expect that person to get over it overnight? And if they don't, then you're going to judge them, right? So you got to be easy with people. You got to take it easy with folks. So yes, God's called us to be fishers of men. He didn't call us to clean them. That's the Holy Spirit's job. And He can do it a lot better than you and I can, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So sorry for all the racket that we have around here. People are driving tractors and traffic's going by and all those kinds of things. But we wanted to be just as real as we possibly could be out here tonight or this morning. And just wanted to bring to you this idea about being a fisher of men. And so, listen, most of us are still working, so do me a favor. Use this as an opportunity to share Jesus with the people that you work with. So, hey, look, do me a favor. Check us out online. Email us, text us, call us. We love you in the Lord. Danny Powell, Robbie Young, thank you for joining me. Tell everybody we'll see them later.
See you guys.
See y'all. Blessings. Take care. God bless you.